In early 2025, the skies turned darker with each passing day. What began as a routine year for aviation quickly spiraled into a series of tragedies that shook the world. The first unsettling sign came on January 28th. In South Korea, an Airbus A321 was preparing to take off from Gimhae International Airport when disaster struck. Without warning, the aircraft caught fire. Panic spread among the 176 passengers on board, but through quick thinking and efficient emergency response, everyone made it out alive. 7 people suffered minor injuries, but they were lucky compared to what was coming. The very next day, January 29th, across the globe in South Sudan, a Beechcraft 1900 operated by Light Air Services soared into the air, carrying 21 people. Minutes into the flight, something went terribly wrong. The plane plummeted from the sky, crashing into the barren oil fields below. Only one person survived the wreck, the rest lost to the unforgiving landscape. The investigation had barely begun when later that same day, a catastrophic mid-air collision occurred near Washington, D.C. American Airlines Flight 5342, a Bombardier CRJ-700, was on a routine flight when it collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. Both aircraft tumbled into the freezing waters of the Potomac River, killing everyone aboard. All 64 passengers on the plane and the 3 crew members on the Black Hawk were lost. The crash was a brutal reminder of the dangers that even the busiest airspaces can hold, casting a shadow over the nation's capital. Just 2 days later, on January 31st, Philadelphia became the site of another aviation disaster. A Learjet 55, operating a medical evacuation, slammed into a residential neighborhood. The fiery explosion not only killed all 6 on board, but also claimed the life of a resident and injured dozens more. The flames consumed homes, leaving a devastated community in its wake. As the calendar turned to February, the tragedies continued. On February 6th, a small Cessna 208B Grand Caravan vanished from radar as it flew across the rugged wilderness of Alaska. The Bering Air flight carrying 10 passengers was headed from Unalakleet to Nome, but it never arrived. After an exhaustive search, rescuers found the wreckage buried in snow, and there were no survivors. February also saw a near disaster in Toronto. A Delta Connection Bombardier CRJ-900 arriving at Toronto Pearson International Airport on February 17th skidded off the runway and overturned. Miraculously, all 80 passengers survived, though 21 were injured. For those on board, it was a close call that could have been much worse. Just a few days later, on February 25th, another tragedy struck, this time in Sudan. An Antonov An-26 military aircraft crashed into a densely populated neighborhood in Omdurman, a major city near the capital of Khartoum. The crash claimed the lives of all 17 on board and 29 residents on the ground, creating a scene of devastation in the heart of the city. Houses were reduced to rubble, and the community mourned as rescue workers sifted through the wreckage. March 17th, off the coast of Honduras, a Lancer Airlines flight fell from the sky into the sea. The British aerospace Jetstream had been carrying 18 passengers, but only 5 survived the crash. The sight of debris floating in the ocean was a grim reminder of the perils of air travel. A few days later, on March 20th, Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest in the world, was forced to shut down after an electrical substation fire brought operations to a halt. Thousands of travelers were stranded and flights worldwide were delayed, further disrupting the fragile air traffic systems already under strain. On March 22nd, the skies claimed more lives. A Trident Aviation de Havilland DHC-5 Buffalo went down near Mogadishu, Somalia, killing all 5 crew members. In Florida, another light sport aircraft crashed, taking the life of its pilot in what should have been a routine flight out of Zellwood. As the aviation world reeled from these events, investigators worked tirelessly to understand why 2025 was marked by so many crashes. Some pointed to pilot shortages, with less experienced crew taking the reins in increasingly crowded skies. Others looked to climate change, with erratic weather patterns creating hazardous flying conditions. And still, others questioned whether the rapid advancement of automated systems was making pilots too reliant on technology. Whatever the reasons, the world was left grieving, searching for answers and hoping for safer skies ahead. The year 2025 would be remembered not just for the planes that crashed, but for the lives that were lost and the collective need to ensure the future of flight was safer for all.